In today's episode, we sit down with Wendy Demarte. Wendy works as FACTS Director for Nelnet International. In her role, Wendy is passionate about building culture where people feel valued and supported. Wendy has over 15 years working in the health and safety sector across various companies and is skilled in all things people management.
We're on the same journey, it seems to be. You know what you said before is so fascinating. I mean, I knew we're on a similar journey because we're a similar sized company.
Yep.
And we do something very similar to at least being software to start with, let alone we service the same client base. I mean, clearly, yeah. But I didn't even realise that one of the things you're doing right now is, as you said, what did you say? Strengthening the bench?
Strengthening the bench.
The bench.
So it's around that,
leadership bench.
Leadership bench. So we just recently had a strategy offsite with the leadership team, and I pulled in kind of that next layer down.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of leaders in the leadership team who were not well. I think one was not well, one was on holidays. And so I said, okay, who's your bench? Who's your next person to come in rather than just having a seat that's empty? Bring someone in. And so they did. And it was really, it's the right thing to do.
I'm struggling a little bit in that area.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you're doing that. So maybe I can learn something from you. This thing, transitioning from, let's say, being, 15, 20 people to now we could be really 50 with the people that we can hire right now. Because, to start with something I've never done before, to hire someone to be a leader versus just to hire someone because they can do a certain role or function. And the difference between the two, what can you share with me? What can I learn from?
I completely agree, Emma. We're pretty much on the same journey. I think ultimately for me, so being relatively new in this role, so I'm 4 months old, coming on to 5 months old, maybe even 6 months. Maybe I'm now crawling.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
But you had been in the company before.
Had been in the company
in
before.
This role,
so head of more of an operations role. So looking after everything. So very much in the operational tactical sense.
Yes.
So moving into this role, I've had to switch my thinking. So, and it's, I think I'm a good leader, but I'm not a great leader. So, and I want to be a great leader.
Okay.
Because if I think about the things that drive me, humility drives me, accountability drives me, developing people drives me. So it's kind of service to not myself, but to the people that are in the team. And can I do that for everyone? No. What I can do though is the group of individuals that report to me is focusing in on that, in that bench strength. So particularly the leadership team. So the report directly to me. So what we call the FACTS leadership team, and this is FACTS just Australia, New Zealand, because FACTS in US is a very big...
How many people do you perceive that to be, say, in the next even 6 months?
Oh, gosh.
5?
As a leadership team?
Yeah, the leadership team, 5, 6, 7.
I think the leadership team will stay strong. So we've got around 5 in that leadership team, which is a good number.
Yeah, okay.
But where that bench strength will come is who they report to. And so what's happening as we're growing, so you've got a leader who might have 5 direct reports. The team's growing and all of a sudden they've got 10, 12.
Okay.
So they're then having to think about, how do I create leads or other leaders? So you're starting to kind of build your back. What did I say before? Your bench strength. Keep thinking back bench strength. It's bench strength.
Yeah.
And so because everyone will just run ragged if all of a sudden you're trying to help everyone. So every now and again that leader or that superstar kind of pokes their head up, or you might need to bring them in or recruit them in. But I think it's about building the team, so you're starting to build, in a sense, leaders that are of service to the rest of the organisation. So for me, that goal is, and it's really hard because sometimes being from an operational mindset, I want to do everything, I want to help everyone, I want to make sure that it's perfect, but I've got to let it. I think my journey in the last probably 5 to 6 months is to let it go. My manager, David Heffernan, says to me, be comfortable in the ambiguity or the grey.
Wow.
So
that's powerful.
Yeah. So I've had to really try and practice that and go, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just sit back and just let it ride a little bit. And that can be really hard for me, letting go.
It keeps you up at night as well.
Yeah.
It's because I guess it's interesting, what did you say, David was the name? Yeah. What David said to you, there's something powerful about it, but I would like to maybe unpack that a little bit because your natural reaction and you think the right leadership thing to do is to be able to talk about these things straight away, not to let it go home with you and sleep over it and be paranoid about it and vice versa. The other person as well maybe would go home and start to talk to people and go into different angles and paranoias and stuff. Deal with it straight away in an adult and civilized way. But you're saying sometimes you go, okay, let me process that. Is that really, or am I misreading what
I think you do. I think sometimes you do have to just pause and think about it a little bit more. It's about, for me, being okay with sitting and thinking and reflecting and just being a bit more thoughtful around what I need to do. Because sometimes I will automatically go into action mode.
Sure.
Get it
Solution
done.
mode.
Solution mode. But that's not going to help anybody develop. And what I'm seeing is the leadership team that we have at the moment in the FACTS leadership team are amazing. And you can see that development and that growth by just allowing people to do it themselves a little bit more, but with the coaching and the guidance.
Yeah, okay. I think you're right. Thank you for clarifying. I think there are slightly two different types of this kind of topic. Let me see if that makes sense, if you agree with me.
Yeah.
There's the issue where you feel maybe there was some bad behavior that you believe your gut feeling tells you based on your own worldviews and ethics and mindsets. So you go, this is not right. I really need to talk to that person. And in my opinion, you should do it before even 5 p.m., before they go home.
I agree.
So maybe that, but what you were talking about is not that. You're talking about if you feel they are great, they're doing their best, but they need some help, you give them some time to try to do it on their own. And instead of jumping in trying to help them, give them that room.
Yeah, exactly.
And I totally agree
exactly.
if that's what you meant. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, no, I think you're completely right. One's a kind of a performance issue and the other is a development issue.
Yes.
So the performance issue, absolutely, particularly if it's something that is against your values or against what is right.
Yeah.
And there's no ambiguity there for me.
Yeah.
So that's really important. And it's interesting because I'll often say to people, or if someone comes to you, for example, I just want to tell you something, but I don't want you to do anything about it. You go, hang on, draw the line. I go, actually, I'll just, there needs some clarity here because I'm happy for you to tell me something, but I'm not always a vault because if it's something that's inappropriate, something that
I might have to do something about it.
I actually might have to do something about it.
I will, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, so you kind of, you can get stuck with it because someone's either just passing the baton over and there's nothing you can do, and that's not fair. The other piece is around that around that development piece. And that's where I have to constantly remind myself to not get in there and do it for the individual.
Especially because you worked in the operations for a long time. You've been in the trenches of almost every role. You can literally help in every role. Hard for you. Yeah,
it's
very interesting
hard.
point.
And I've learned, it's interesting, when I first started so Nelnet International is our group name, and then we've got different businesses in there. So Nelnet International, I remember sort of the first few weeks in conversations with David Heffernan, who is the CEO of Nelnet International. So he looks after all of the businesses within our group. And I remember he was saying to me things, I can't remember what it was, or something, we should do X, Y, Z. That would be really great to be able to do that. And I go, that's okay. That sounds good. So my enablement piece goes into action completely.
Yeah.
By 100.
Yeah.
So I'm in there doing the project plan, getting everything sorted, getting it all written up, making sure, happy, we can do this now, David. And he goes, it's just an idea. It was just an idea. So big learning curve for me because we do a thing within the whole organisation around our working geniuses. So it's something that Patrick Lencioni's group does in the tabletop group.
Okay.
And it's basically a very quick self-assessment of what you love and what you don't love. And he bases it on a framework of 6 working geniuses which is how you get work done.
Okay.
Going from wonder to ideation to galvanizing, discernment galvanizing, and then into the enablement and implementation. So getting it done, or tenacity.
Okay.
So what we found after doing that, we discovered that David's geniuses are wonder and galvanizing. So wonder is the person who loves to ask the questions, why, how can we do this better? So very much in that sitting in ambiguity. I don't have the genius of wonder, I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
And his is galvanizing. So galvanizing is where you get to rally. And as a leader, again, multiplier factor, very powerful. So you've got to be very careful.
To get the support behind the idea when you feel there's something there, you build consensus about it, you go, God damn, this is good, you've got to get support for it.
Yeah. So that galvanizer, though, has to be very careful because they're very, very they will get through and rally the troops and start, but you may not have gone through the process of, is this actually the right question to answer? Is this the right thing to do? Have we got the right solution? So there's these steps of ideation and discernment that go in there. So my geniuses are discernment. I do have a really good gut feeling when something's not right or right. Or I can bring in the patterns. So you need that someone as your kind of sounding board to just, again, pause. Is it the right decision?
Yeah.
But my other genius is enablement. So you've got someone with wonder, someone with enablement, and all of a sudden, whatever you tell me, because you're my manager, you're the leader, I'm going to do. Because enablement wants to be beside.
Got it. So you want to refrain that a little bit to be able to have a bit of a wander.
Yeah.
A little dance there first and slowly make your way to that.
So my learning, and as we was talking before, my journey has been about that self-reflection and just going, you need to actually ask the question first, really, or sit beside that wonder and have fun with that, with the individual.
Yeah.
So it's stopping this, just being curious.
What would you say if I said to you about this? This is my 5 cents worth of wisdom on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in terms of, does that ring a bell or how relevant to this point if I said to you, the word root cause is so understated?
Yeah. Why?
Because people throw it around for the last, I don't know how many years, and people don't really take it seriously. It's the most powerful word, especially in what we do in terms of relevant to your thing, to really keep asking the questions. Is that really the reason you want that feature? You want that thing? Why? Why do you really want this? What is the real cause behind it? You keep taking them back to what they do and what the requirement is, what the issues is, what the pain point is, as opposed to already they are talking solution mode to you. And you want to really unpack that to why, to get that root cause. And I guess maybe that's relevant to what you're saying a little bit before we jump into any solution to have that. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree, Anwar. And I think I'm trying to get better at it. I think I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
And I have to. Otherwise, I will impact myself and, more importantly, impact those that are in my team.
Sure.
So, yeah, completely. Having to stop and ask the question, why? Why is this important? Having that little bit of, having a lot of curiosity around what's going on in that individual's person and just stopping and not solutioning.
Yeah, but I think I would not I would not worry about you at all from that point of view, because I tell you why. The biggest, in my opinion, blocker for a human being to get better at this would be people skills
Yeah.
and comm skills. I don't think you have any problem with that. So,
Thank you.
No, definitely
Thank you.
not. Definitely not. And so that is going to be the basis. You know, you want to, how it starts even, you call someone, you need to be half decent person for them to even take a call.
Yeah.
Then after that, you want them to agree to talk to you for a little bit over coffee or on the phone or whatever.
Yeah.
Then hopefully even the third layer of that to open up to you. But none of that will happen if you don't have people skills.
Yeah.
So then when they start to feel that they can open up to you, then it becomes, that's the only place where potentially the truth will come out. So that becomes now your skills of unpacking things and how you logically want to take the conversation. But without that, those 3 steps being there, you don't have even a chance. So that's what I'm talking about. You definitely have the people skills.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you'll get there.
Yeah.
Very good. So we'll talk about the journey, and you've already touched on one. You're on a journey. So just to frame this, you've been in the company, in the operations for a while. When I say a while, can I say a few years or more?
5 years. So I'm coming up to 5 years next year, so 4 years in that ops role.
Sure. And now in the last 4 or 5 months, you have become the MD of the company. It's a software company. The clients are private school. Can I say private, or it doesn't have to be private?
Doesn't have to be private.
Even
so
public
it's
potentially,
the K, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Or what to K, sorry?
K-12, so K-12 market in Australia and New Zealand.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for clarifying that. Cool. So you're the MD of a software company, and you said to me, therefore, like all of us, you decided that you've got a few things you would like as a human being and as a leader to grow in those areas. That's your personal growth and journey. So you feel that you're on journey, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So take me through it. What's the number one thing that you believe there's some room to grow there? There's some room for improvements.
Oh, number one. I think for me it's around curiosity, being completely relentlessly curious around the people that I serve, so the people in our organisation, and also around
you mean getting to know them? What does that mean?
Getting
to know them personally, but also their roles.
Getting to know them, being really curious around how they want to develop, what they want to do.
Okay.
I think for me, and it sounds a little bit, and it's probably overdone, but
no, not at all. I just wanted to clarify.
People come first to me. So it's around it's that people first approach, being completely relentless around building and driving the performance and the individual development of the team. Because without that, I lose interest a little bit.
Sure.
But saying that, the journey for me is making sure I can now focus in on aligning with the organisation's performance goals.
And the client base as well, you know.
Yeah.
And I my goodness, I'm more than you on a journey. I've got so much to learn, and still I'm not giving you a lecture whatsoever. But I really liked what you're saying, and I was just going to see if I can add something to it. You know what I'm really enjoying, and I believe is, because, you know, I've got this thing, I use the word fundamentals.
Yep.
So when I'm talking to my co-director or to shareholders, I tell them, and they know me by now, I talk about the fundamentals, everything else is noise.
Yep.
You know, if the fundamentals are good, they can see the smile on my face, I'm happy, I'm confident. If I'm worried about any of those fundamentals, that's all I want to talk about. They can see I'm directing the conversation back into that problem, you know. And fundamentals to me at the moment, and part of the reason I'm immensely grateful and humble by that, you know, I can just knock on wood. Things are going really well for us right now. And one of if you ask me why, the quality of the conversation, which is sort of what you're talking about, which is why I'm inspired to talk about this with the people. But you know what? Also with the clients. And here's the interesting thing with both, because so the chances are, so I've made mistakes before. I have been on a journey. I've been a little immature, a little bit arrogant a few years back. And I've learned a lot, and I've grown a lot from that point of view. So, for example, you've got a client on a call, 1, 2, 3 people from clients, and you've got a few people from your own team. You know, they are looking at you. They are seeing that culture. They are sensing that. They are, without even trying to do it, unconsciously, every move, every word, interaction between you and your team, or your team talking to each other or to you, etc., unconsciously, even if they like you and they're not trying to analyze you or any of that, unconsciously, they are feeling that culture. They're feeling the vibe. What kind of vibe is there? Is there tension? Is anybody rude? Is anybody disrespectful, etc.? How you're seeing that person that maybe their English is not great, how not patient with them you are. All these little things, unconsciously, they are forming opinion about that culture and about you as a company and as a human being as well as a leader. And then they will have, after a while, it becomes very clear whether they have respect for you and for your organization or not. Nothing can change that. A few meetings like that opinion can never be reversed after that. So that maturity for me to even see this picture was a big thing for me to see that. And I can tell you right now, these fundamentals, I am immensely grateful and humbled by them. The conversations I have with the team, critical conversations, critical. I'm talking about, you know, sometimes you decide to go, this is the R&D roadmap. Then something comes up and you decide to pivot. I mean, that is a big thing. That pivot, you're taking that responsibility, you build consensus, you have to make a decision, you have to say we're pivoting, we need to drop everything and work on this. And you start to work on that and you realize it's taken longer than you think. And there's tension here. It's your responsibility. You feel that you're causing this. How do we get out of that situation? Can we just say that was a bad thing? We'll drop it half done and go back to the plan? Do we, if we try to expedite and do it too quickly, it's going to be overcooked or undercooked or not done right. People feel they have still tech debt when they move from it. They're not comfortable, stays on their mind. It tarnishes their focus. I mean, it's a big thing. So how to handle these conversations? I am really proud of the team and myself, how we're doing that. So to me, that's been a big thing, part of my journey. How do you?
I think that's very powerful, Anwar, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I think particularly for us, we're quite remote, and I would say it's probably one of our challenges that we still are working on and trying to kind of cut through. And what I say to that is I think everyone becomes very busy. Everyone, as we say, assume good intent always. Everyone has good intent. Everyone wants to do their best job. But sometimes what happens is you get in your own little plane and your own little silo, your own little track. It could be, you know, we've got people in Queensland, New Zealand, South Australia, WA, and it's quite easy just to stay in your cave and not connect back again. So I think for us, as you said before, what is the fundamental? And I think the fundamental for me is when I know that everyone's having those great conversations when there's a problem and they do put their hand up and say, there's something going on, can we all get together as a group? That would be the golden mark for me to say, that we're on the right track here.
Let me repeat this, trying to repeat that. You want to know that people have got the courage and the right environment, they're encouraged and they feel comfortable to say we need to talk, something's not right. Is
completely.
That what you...
Clarity, courage and connection. So you've got, you know, someone's not quite sure what's going on or it's not working or they think that, you know, as you say, with the software or some sort of project is not feeling right.
So that's that clarity, meaning
that's that clarity.
They don't feel there is enough clarity.
I call it, and we notice this very early on when you've got your OKRs, you've got your objectives and the key results are okay. I know what it is, you know what it is, but your definition of key result or the goal is completely different to mine. So it's fine-tuning that. And that's the journey we're on as an organisation is coming back to that. So until I'm absolutely clear. So it's quite funny now I hear in meetings just for clarity, what I think success is looks like this X, Y, Z. Is that what everyone else is looking like? Yes. But then someone might tweak up and go, oh, that's different to what I was thinking.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Because unless we're at that place where we can completely be on the same page,
You're right. The solution
we would just
is not going to
waste so
be
much time and just creates frustration. And so I think if anything, and as I say in the meetings, if I can add value to try and get people together and just have that conversation, that's my role.
It's interesting
right now.
what you said, open my eyes about something. So I appreciate that, because it's not – so it's fair enough that you're able to get people together and have good conversation. You want to be able – you want to make sure other people are able to make that to say let's get together.
Yeah.
It can't be just for those meetings that you're calling for. You want to know there is courage and encouragement and the right environment for people to say something doesn't make sense, let's talk.
Let's
get 2,
pull it
3, 4,
together.
5 people and clarify things,
Which can be hard. If you're in an office, it might be easy to go, you rally everyone together and you say, I'm feeling worried about this. Can we just have a chat just to define what's going on? When you're remote, I think it is a big blocker.
So why don't you change that? Do you want to work on that over the next 12 months, start to build a bit of a hub?
It's the key. It's the key. I think where success for me, or what success for me would look like, is that happens anyway, organically. I don't need to jump in and say, let's all catch up. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. Let's get an update from everyone.
Agree.
Particularly those objectives that are high objectives. They're, highly important goals. If that happens, I'm building bench strength.
I agree.
If it doesn't happen, I'm still relying. I'm not stepping away enough. There's something that's not working, or I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the trouble. Even you can decide to step away enough, but if you haven't built the right culture and you don't have the right people, nothing's going to happen and things will fall apart. Yeah. So you want to step away, but first you want to have the right culture. As you said, people feel encouraged to say something doesn't make sense, let's talk.
Yeah. And I think when you've got
– you got to do both.
Yeah. So, we've got a couple of products that started as a small family business. So, startups you've got – and generally that hierarchy is one person. Everyone's used to doing what that one person says, which is fantastic, because you have to. As a company, you're driving, you're pushing, you're changing, and that one person is critical. But as you grow, that skill to actually think for yourself, to speak up, has to actually be pushed down. Otherwise, no one's going to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Or feel empowered to do anything. So I think where I was saying with the sort of the clarity and the courage and connection, that's that courage piece.
Yeah.
And to say it's actually okay to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and I think, AI and Copilot and everything's making it a little bit easier, because I'll say to someone, just give me your first draft. It doesn't have to be, I call it, can I swear?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever.
Your first shitty draft.
Yeah.
Call it.
Yeah, you call that a swear?
Yeah, sorry.
That's a soft one.
Is it a soft one? Sorry. I am from the country. And we would call it our FSD. And so, which has been so powerful. And, I'd say, just give me your FSD, which means don't overthink it. Whatever you give me, I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to put red marks over it. It just gets you out of the mud. Yeah. Copilot is making that easier, because it helps you create that first draft and pull it together really quickly.
Okay.
And so if I want a proposal, someone's got a business case that they want to put to me, I'll go, okay. Previous Wendy prior to not thinking would have gone away, that's a great idea. Let's put a proposal together. Guess who's the dummy that will I will create the draft. I'll just put it together for you. Now I can say, just go away tomorrow, bring back the FSD and let's have a look at it. And I can give you some ideas and we can structure it. because I'm here to serve you. I'm here beside you, helping you. I don't want to do it for you. And that was my challenge.
Okay.
Because I want to help you, Anwar.
Yeah.
Basically want to do it for you.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So let's go back to the journey thing.
Yeah.
And we already sort of touched on one thing, which is the way you've described it, and please jump in to correct me, to give those leaders, but the people that report to you anyway, but probably anybody that you work with in the company, but primarily the people that report to you, give them a bit more room to make mistakes and research and go sideways and up and down a little.
Yeah.
Give them that room. And it's frustrating because sometimes you know that you can help them to do it in a day instead of 5 or in an hour instead of a day, but you feel you're learning to refrain from doing that and switch off and just say, I'm not going to talk to them till tomorrow 4 p.m. and that's it. I'm going to switch off from this, That's cool. So this is a subject that is definitely on a journey forward as well. And can I say that it could be described as that kind of skill set that we have to develop, which is leading leaders.
Yeah.
So the difference, and I'm not giving you a lecture, I've just learned recently about that from talking to organisational psychologists. I had no idea. So what they taught me is, and it doesn't mean I'm practicing it well yet, I'm just saying I know the knowledge of it. Practicing it is something else. There's leading yourself. That's that mindset that you take. I'm taking responsibility for my life. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to complain, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's leading yourself. You start to behave like a leader. You inspire people around you to go, wow, something special about this guy, yeah? So this is great. That's certainly a big deal and people need to do that. Then you've got leading others, but then you've got leading leaders. That is the area that you and me right now, I think we're talking about here. Creating that leader bench, and part of creating it, you've got to be able to manage them. Otherwise, it's going to be a revolving door. So you've got to pick the right people and know how to manage them so hopefully they stay and you build some kind of, a good, stable leadership team. That leading leaders is a very interesting topic. And you're absolutely right. The key thing is the fact that when they come to you with a problem, what the psychologist said to me something powerful. She said, you've got to stay behind them. I go, what do you mean? She said, okay, here's the problem. It could be one of the employees, for example. Whatever that problem here, they need to be here. You need to be behind them. You can't go around them and deal with the problem directly. You have all this urge because you have the knowledge, the wisdom. You're probably even older. You've got more experience in life and you've been in the trenches for that role. All of the above, could be the case. And you still have to refrain yourself and do the talking, being behind the meeting only to them and put them back onto the field to go back and execute, even if you know they might not get it right. And they need to keep trying, you keep doing that until they get it right. It's so interesting.
And it's so hard at the same time. But it's so, I think you are completely correct when when I think about, I used to do mental health first aid. So it was mental health first aid.
I was going to talk to you about that. I saw that on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So, and so I used to run the courses. And one of the things, a very powerful course, and highly recommend anyone who's interested. Mental health first aid, first aiders.
Oh, first aid. I'm sorry. I thought you said
mental health first aid.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, to be called that. Yeah.
And it's the brilliant thing around, and one thing that you're talking about there that comes into that actual course is around don't take the oars off the individual.
Yeah.
Make sure that they always have control. Let them hold their own oars. So as soon as you
nice analogy. Yeah.
As soon as you take it away, that individual, may become a victim. May not learn how to learn any strategies, will become dependent on you.
Yeah, totally.
So it's probably the heart. I think as my journey is, and sort of as I'm growing, is learning not to take the oars away from individuals and teaching others not to do the same. So it's about having those really beautiful, authentic conversations to help someone help themselves in a way. That sounds really corny.
Yeah.
But I think you're completely right. And it's okay if they make a mistake. And I'm trying to make sure that's really clear.
Yeah.
If it's not right, if it's not correct, or if we don't get it right the first time, it actually doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I say to
100%.
everyone,
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, no one's life is at stake here.
Yeah.
And so it's okay. And we can always fix it. If something goes wrong, we'll band together and we'll solution it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And I think, the real stars in the leadership teams are, which I admire completely, are the ones that do just stay the course, stay calm, solution it, bring the team together without me even being there. So, I think it is kind of very powerful and humbling at the same time.
Do you ever have you been described, or do you know yourself that sometimes you bring emotion into a conversation, into a critical conversation with a leader, with an employee? Do you feel you have that problem? Because I do have that problem. In an okay place, but certainly I've got some room to improve there. One of the things I'm working on, how do you keep, I guess as a founder, maybe I'm more prone to it than yourself, but I don't want to make excuses here. I do have that problem. And if you know anything about that, what can you share with us about that?
What do you mean problem?
You're having a critical conversation with an employee. They did something disrespectful against the culture. The performance issues, they know they were negligent or lazy, or something really that you feel passionate about. You bring too much passion or emotion sometimes into the conversation because you get really frustrated with how bad that was in terms of, my goodness, that was so obvious. And for what makes it worse, I've just explained it to you and you still don't have a humility to even go, hold on, let me reset the conversation. I agree with you. Now that you said that, I'm really sorry, I've stuffed up. They don't even say anything like that.
Yeah.
And they continue to want to defend it. So you become maybe emotional in the conversation. Yeah. Can you share with me anything like that?
Absolutely. And I probably, it can really make my blood boil a little bit, Anwar, when something becomes an emotion.
And we're all humans,
We're human, and emotions are really important.
Yeah.
They tell us what's going on, safety, happiness, joy, whatever it is. And sometimes we probably can't articulate emotions very well because we're not taught how to do that. So it's a skill in itself.
Yeah.
And people will say, and I can be, particularly when that emotion becomes potentially inappropriate or disrespectful. Yeah. There lies the issue.
Yeah.
Emotion itself, I don't think it should never be an issue because it's who you are. And sometimes that emotion comes out because you care about it. Mm-hmm. It's when someone says, I'm very nervous, I'm so scared to do something. Okay. Generally, it's because you care about it. Sure. And you want to do it. So that's good. And so when it's an emotion that is disrespectful and inappropriate, I'd say, that's where we need to rein it in and try and control that.
I'm sorry, I might have misunderstood what you meant. Now it all made sense. You're saying our reaction when we're emotional if we are disrespectful. Yes, of course.
So,
So you're saying what level or type of emotions, what's acceptable, what's not.
Correct, but I think the social norm of bringing emotion to the table is a negative connotation, and I hope we can change that because emotion should be a natural thing. And particularly, people will say, and I absolutely have I been in that situation, I'll get called away and say, well, you were a bit emotional. I'll get emotional after being told I'm emotional because I'm going, what are you talking about? Yeah. It's because it frustrates me or I love it. Or, So I think that is
You're saying it can be healthy.
It can be
just
healthy.
a matter of the level and how far you let it go or control
I think
you.
Otherwise we're just robots without any reaction. I think we have to, but as long as it's not disrespectful.
Sure. Okay, that's the line for you, in your opinion, that makes it a different category is the disrespectful.
Yeah, or it's impacting someone else.
You're right, because it becomes personal. You're attacking that person personally.
Yeah. It's their reaction. But saying that, I have had to, like, if there's something that I disagree with or I'm judging it just because we all do it, and all of a sudden my emotion sometimes comes out of my face the wrong way, I have to control that because I'm being judgmental. That's not cool or very kind. So that is something that I need to work on. But I think it's just making sure that it's all comes from the right place. Emotion is good. Love a good meeting where people are getting excited. That's an emotion. Or joyful or angry or frustrated. That's amazing.
But not become personal.
As long as it's not personal or judgmental, and that can be hard, and that's where that kind of that emotional intelligence comes into it. Definitely need to work on that sometimes.
One of the things that I got better at is this recognition that the difference between speaking to someone that, an employee, regardless, but to an employee, whether it's a leader or not, doesn't matter really from this point of view. I know it sounds very naive, but there's a huge difference between when you're speaking with them one-on-one in private and if there's someone else. How much, when it's one-on-one, you can really be, making judgments and stuff in a professional environment and stuff, or let them know about certain weaknesses or mistakes they made, and the conversation can still be 100% okay, and you shake hands with them because you're going to mention the fact that they are awesome at so many things. They let themselves in this area that wasn't good, that wasn't cool, blah, blah, blah. You can do all that. But when you're doing it in front of people, that level of honesty becomes, you can hardly do 5% of it. There's a huge difference. I thought for the purpose of openness, or people would have the humility to say, I don't care, I'm good enough at so many things. So what if Anwar pointed out that, look, I've let myself down here a little bit or whatever. But I've just learned there's something that people are really sensitive. The huge difference. And I started to make that recognition and reserve certain conversation for when it's one-on-one. I know it sounds obvious, but do you have that experience, or did you feel you've learned anything about that?
I think personally, for me, I can if we talk about an inappropriate emotion, overreact or put my 2 cents worth in too early, too quickly, too loudly. I certainly have a tendency to do that and have to rein that in. How do you stop that is purely for me. It's just I have to just work at it, and it's a skill. It's a maintaining that sense of just sit back, pause, relax, be curious, always ask questions, the why. Always trying to understand first, because I'll have to at times backtrack myself. I'll go, oops, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Can we just backtrack it a little bit?
Are you an apologizer?
I will. Oh, absolutely. Of course I am.
I'm a big apologizer.
Sorry about that.
No. No, are you in general? Are you an apologizer?
Absolutely.
Whether with the family or at work?
I would say yes. I would say sorry, particularly if it is something where I've overreacted. If someone comes to me with a suggestion or a thought, maybe they've caught me at a time where there's a lot going on. My resilience or my well-being is probably not where it should be. It is harder, that threshold. I could probably go, be judgmental and say that's no, or whatever. But I think that's where you've got to temper that as a leader and just stay calm, stay the course.
You know what helps with that? I found it powerful, and it's been really, really helpful to realise that if you don't control these sort of situations in a way that you feel you're proud of yourself, the level, see, I know where I need to be. No one needs to tell me. My standards are high enough. Don't get me wrong. Just a matter of sometimes I feel I let myself down. But this actually leads me, this perfect segue to this point I'm making. what's made me more resilient and been able to keep these standards where I need them to be is I started to realize if I don't do that, not only I'm letting myself down, I'm letting the entire team down. I'm the standards of the CEO is the standards of the entire team. If I tarnish these, I'm letting the entire team down. That gave me so much more strength.
You're completely right. And sometimes it is the, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's the barometer. You're setting the temperature. You're setting.
Yeah, right.
You're setting the tone. And to me, because I'm always in this mindset of an imposter, I have to remind myself to go, actually, Wendy, this is the right thing. And I think ethically, and I've got a pretty good barometer. So if something doesn't feel right, or it's not, people aren't being treated correctly, or it's unfair, if you talk about emotion, I can get very emotional.
Because it doesn't even have to be always personal stuff, although that was definitely a big chunk of it. That was actually a bigger chunk, as a matter of fact. So thank you for digging into that, and definitely big chunk. But, it could be even, making decisions about a product or something like that. You've rushed it. The quality of the conversation wasn't good, so that resilient for you to listen better and stuff. Not necessarily offended anybody, but you didn't give oxygen to the right people at the right time. The conversation didn't go very well. But even just that, you've let the entire company down as a critical decision, critical meeting. People feel that, what was it all about? That meeting wasn't great, but not necessarily anybody's offended. You did not attack anybody personally. Yeah. So even that in the same category about that whole emotions and. And
I think, when you're talking about that, one of the other sort of skills that I'm trying to be better at, or just continually, so, we were talking about curiosity before, is in that environment. So rather than always going, we'll do this, I'll tell you what to do, it's about asking those questions.
Got it.
And so, again, I'll come back to my manager at the moment, David, ask good questions. It's all you need to do, Wendy. Ask good questions, just keep asking. And I think for me, that's been a very powerful tool. Again, whether it's the why or whatever, but just keep asking questions to, again, enable and empower the team to think about it. Don't come up with the solutions. Because always, because you become that position of, because you're the leader in the room, all of a sudden your answer is the one that's going to happen. Whether or not, so you go, well, it won't be the best answer. It's not going to, out of that group of people, I need to go, just keep asking the questions. And when you're in a rush, or you're busy, or you want to get things happening or moving, it's real. I find that challenging. Not to get into action mode quick enough, but actually to go, okay, what's going on? Ask better questions.
Great.
Yeah.
Let me take a little pivot. We'll come back to that journey that you and I seem to be on. It's a small little pivot. Just I don't know why it came to mind. It's connected somehow with this as well. To me, the fundamentals. If you remember, we talked about this. To me, one angle of looking at the fundamentals of a company like ours, a SaaS platform, the way I describe it, three things, right? The product, the people behind the product, and that's the dev team, the product managers, the support, the implementation team, all the people that support the product, And the third one, so that's two so far, product, people behind the product. The third one is the advocates. So that's the happy clients. How do you see that? Do you agree, or am I missing something? Is there a fourth one?
No,
in terms of the top?
I think they're all critical. I think for me, one of the pieces for us when we're having those conversations with the teams and asking good questions is around pulling in the customer piece. Highly critical. What does because as we were saying before, we get into this mode of just doing. getting everyone together and going, why are we doing this? What does this mean to the customer?
Yeah.
How did we get this idea? Was it through the customer? Constantly having to remind the team, and we're getting better at it, even including that customer piece in the key results. It has to be the fundamental piece of it all. If we're not thinking about our customers, one of the things that we do really well at Fax is, our NPS scores are great. Our existing client retention is amazing. We've got a customer success manager who is probably the biggest advocate for our customers.
It's amazing.
He is absolutely incredible.
That's good.
He will fight the fight.
Yeah.
For the customer.
Yeah.
So and it's probably something that we haven't really talked about enough, and I haven't brought it up because I don't know why, but I think it's really, it is the fundamental piece. It is our foundation of what we're doing. And we can be very...
and that is, I'm sorry, what's the foundation?
Understanding what our customers need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that's where for me, that's my goal going forward.
Yeah.
So we're starting an executive advisory board.
How often do you speak with clients?
Not enough.
Roughly once a week, one client a week, 5 a week?
Not for me personally, no.
Yeah, you personally
No.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I had a lot of conversations at our conferences. Do I speak to customers on a weekly basis? No. So building out...
Is that something you're looking at, questioning at least, thinking about?
Yeah. So with our executive client advisory board, we'll have about 6 to 10 people on that board.
As in clients?
As in clients, customers.
Mm.
So then I've got direct link to customers to understand what's going on.
So you're on that.
What do you think about that?
But
I'll
these
be
meetings,
running it.
But these meetings happen, once a quarter?
A couple of times a year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Am I connected to the customers directly and well? Probably not.
I don't know if I can add, or you want me to add any 5 cents worth. I would say do a bit more there.
Yeah. I'm hoping with the client advisory board, it's building those relationships. So being in that operational space, moving into the now managing.
Why can't you be
sales?
almost the account manager for a few clients? Almost the account manager.
Yeah.
For a few clients. Strategically, one because it's small, one because it's big, one because, I don't know, pick few 3 that are so distinct.
Well, I'm hoping with this so that is the goal of the executive advisory board.
Sure.
The way that it's made up, it has to be diverse. So we've got New Zealand, we've got Australia,
got
we've got different denominations, small.
I think it's a great idea.
And that's that relationship. So, that is begun already. So
I don't know by itself. It's a great channel. And as a matter of fact, let me acknowledge that you're doing better than me. I'm not doing something like that. This is great. So I might actually copy the idea.
I think there's the formal part and the informal
That's
part.
what I mean.
It's
informal. You have a few accounts that you
informal
one-on-one.
And that's what I hope that advisory board will do for me, is around bringing them together. But that's the formal. That's the formal
But
part
because
of
you
it.
get to know them, you start to do, got it. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the
So
work.
you're getting there.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
You're going in the right direction.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that will be the key.
Okay.
And that's really hard. I'm not I've always been potentially, for me, behind the scenes. So being in front, being that person is not my natural place.
Yeah.
So this is actually really good because for me
that person, which person? Not natural place. Sorry.
So I'm
being
probably,
the person behind the scene, or being
the person behind the scene is probably I'll be of service. I'll help. I'll drive it. Being in the front is not as easy for me.
Okay.
Which I'm getting better at.
Okay. But that's the right journey.
It's
I think
that
this
kind
thing
of
you're
that-
doing is the right. Yeah.
That will be key because it's about building relationships.
Yeah.
So it's so once I've got that relationship, then I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's getting that confidence to go, these people actually do want to talk to you, Wendy. It's okay.
Yeah.
and it's sort of reciprocal, isn't it?
Got it.
It goes both ways. So for me, having that connection to these schools and these executives within these schools will help me understand and grow.
Yeah. Start even with the users to start with.
Yeah.
And then from there also, go into the decision makers and the leadership team and whatever. Yeah, but I think you're on the right journey. I mean, you're doing something about it. You'll get there.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that is a gap, and we'll start that.
You'll retire from this job or quit this job or you let go, whatever, and you still have gaps. Forever it'll be gaps. So don't worry too much.
Complete.
Do you know what I mean?
I haven't peaked yet.
Like
We've got a long way to go.
We will never be perfect in our personal life, in our roles, wherever. There's always going to be gaps. So as long as you're comfortable, what's your priorities and what you really need to improve on and focus on that, that's, it's good. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. There was one thing I still would love to pick your brain on.
Yeah.
And back to that journey thing and stuff. So that leading leaders is definitely an area for me now. I don't have the leadership team where I want it to be. And big part of why I got an EA in Blair is to help me with that.
Yeah.
To organise the right cadence, to start to organise these meetings. But my problem is I haven't filled all the seats yet. So I still need one or two on that leadership team for me to have the full thing. But it doesn't matter. We can start to work with what we've got, start to get those meetings a bit more formal, happening at a certain rhythm, and get the right agenda and vibe during these meetings. That's the biggest thing for me right now, to transition. An organisational psychologist said something interesting. She said, you're doing a good job she's been working with me and stuff. Yeah. She said, you're doing a pretty good job with your one-on-one with the leaders. She said, what you need to transition at some point, and you will know when is the right thing, but it needs to happen, is when you start to create an environment where the leaders are encouraged to start to help each other without you being there. So you keep doing the one-on-ones. It's absolutely cool. You're going to continue forever doing that. Yeah. But you want to create an environment, because you're having these leadership meetings and people start to be comfortable together. And you set up some kind of framework about who's doing what and what you want things. They start to read that culture and they start to work together with you. Be happy that they are working together, helping each other out, passing knowledge, information. She said, when you feel you've done that, it might take a year even to do that. It's not an easy thing to do. But when that happens, that's the ultimate leading leaders.
I agree.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not there. I'm still baby steps.
Yeah. And it's such a lovely thing to be able to do. And sometimes it's quite amazing that you actually have to put the energy in to do that, because everyone is so in their own world.
Yeah.
And so creating that environment, that's up to you, that's up to me to do. Yep. I completely agree. We do a leadership check-in every week. And I think that is probably, and because I've just moved into the role, that is the one thing, and I can see it slowly change. That team is so critical. And it's trying to get the group to understand they'll have their teams, but their number one team is that leadership team. So it's being able to work it out together and to, and the goal is, and what I hope, and I can start to see it, is that kind of that real collegiate, that team environment where people, I've got your back, I've got you, I've got you. And it's, and you can have, and we've had a few meetings and it's been emotional. Yeah. Someone has just gotten, and I said, it's okay. You got to get it out. It's a cleanse. I said, you did it in the right way because you weren't disrespectful for anyone. You just showed people how important this particular piece was. Exactly. And whether this, it could be, your typical, when things go wrong in customer support, for example, when you've got a ticket that's going from here to here to here and it goes around in corners and it gets frustrating. And again, people not picking up the phone and talking to each other and the busyness. And so that can be very frustrating, and I go, you'll have, the backdoor meetings, the meeting after the meeting. I said, we've got to come to a place where you can vent those frustrations in that meeting.
Yeah.
However you like.
Yeah.
However you like. And I think, you know, we've done that a few times and a few frustrations, and I go, it's okay.
Yeah.
People send me a note, sorry about that, Wendy. I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I hopefully I'll have to be the one that says sorry one day.
Yeah.
And I have on occasion.
Let me pick your brain on this because this is my own philosophy. So don't do it at home. This is my own thing. Because if something that came from a professional or whatever, I always acknowledge that. So this is my own observation. You know, when you think about it, people's skills is really key here to what we do. And I tell you what, I'll give you a real example because I actually wanted your feedback on that point anyway, on this example. So you've got 5-6 people in a meeting, a couple of employees, 1 or 2 leaders, and then someone comes in, could be a leader, also part of that meeting, and he says something that you believe it's against the culture, it's unacceptable, it's not right. You know, maybe taking credit for something they didn't do. They did not acknowledge the people, the right people behind this win, that success, something that really, to me, is so critical. How do you handle that in front of people is where the people's skills comes in. Because it's important for people are watching you. A lot of people know this is not right. They're watching, what are you going to do about it? You have to call it out. But how do you call it out where if you go back to the other point that we said, how people are sensitive when you speak to them or when you point out certain bad behaviors one-on-one versus in front of people, there's a huge difference to how much you can indulge yourself or do in one setting against the other. So how do you do it, but knowing that there are people here that this person not going to take it well if it's going to be personal? How do you do it in a swift and interesting way is where the people skills comes in. Do you agree with that? Or because that's my own thing. No professional that I've ever spoken to about or I've never read it anywhere. It's just my own observation. So what do you think about that?
I agree. It's a skill. It's an absolute skill because there's a balance there, and there's a balance depending on the complexity or the inappropriateness of someone's comment.
You're right.
But if it's, but I think a good leader, or I hope I would be able to come where you're not putting people on the spot, but you kind of have this really interesting way of embed. I don't know, somehow.
Got to call it out.
Yeah.
People are watching you. Some people, because I'll give you even a better example. This person fairly new to the company. You've got in the room 5-6 people, and 3 or 4 of those have been with you for 5-6 years. They understand the culture. They know what we stand by and what's not acceptable. Something like that happens. They're looking at you literally as a leader to role model that, to prove that we don't stand for stuff like that. We call out stuff like that. So how do you do it when this person has got a huge potential and even he's a leader but new, and how do you do the two, balance the two? I'm going to call it out, but I'm going to keep it with a bit of a humility and maybe not. In other words, what's the word I think that's appropriate here to maybe use? It's the save face. How do you do it in a way where you allow them to save face, but it's very clear, you've called it out, you've made it clear to everybody and to them that's unacceptable. That's where the people skills comes in, right?
Absolutely. You would, what I would call layering. So you would layer the conversation.
Okay.
So you've said something and you've forgotten the rest of the team. You're making out that you're the one who signed that contract or whatever. I think that there's a finesse in the layering of those conversations. You would face it head on. You have to, as you say, you're the leader. If you can't, there's certain things you've got to
absolutely,
and the value, whether that's the value of team, respect, all of that. You'd layer it. You'd say, Anwar, glad you brought that up. That's so you take the focus away from the individual. You basically, because you have to say, you can't reprimand in front of the group. I think that's inappropriate. That's a side conversation.
Yes.
You would layer it. You say, Anwar, I'm so pleased you brought up that success. let's have a think about how this happened. And you'd layer in and you'd bring in, let's also, it's kind of a little bit.
Where's the layer thing here? What's the analogy of a layer in that example?
Let's also thank and think about who else has been involved in this.
Okay.
So you would do the and. You're connecting it with an and.
Interesting. I've never learned anything about this. That's really interesting.
Because you've got to go, because it's that real, you've got to control the conversation again. You go, awesome, Anwar. That's
so
a
let
really
me add
good.
something to it. I'm not necessarily criticising what you said. I may be saying you probably missed something else that is here.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I do it, but I don't. I've never realised that's what it actually means. That layering. Yeah. Very cool.
Because you've got to start from. You can have a side conversation to learn more, but you only know so much in that one statement, and you come back to assume good intent. Sometimes people's ego can take over. They forget. Let's assume that they're doing a good thing. Can be very hard, particularly if your value is one of humility, which is very high.
Yeah.
So my internal blood would be boiling.
Yeah.
So you've got to go control the conversation.
I learned something from you.
Layer it. But always come from the heart, good intent.
What do you mean by that in this example? Sorry.
Always assume good intent.
Okay.
If it's a repeated behaviour.
So this energy.
Yeah, whatever's coming
people
out.
People feel it.
Yeah. If Anwar, if you've decided that big contract that was just won was all because of you and only you, my humility radar would be going through the roof. But as a leader, you can't do anything.
Got it.
You've got to contain that. So you would go, interesting.
Yeah.
You'd layer it. You'd say, glad you brought that up, Anwar.
Yeah.
What an amazing success story. Let's think about who else was actually involved in that.
Find a way to give them benefit of the doubt, to keep it centered to some good place.
Yeah.
But point out there's a few things missing here.
Yeah, and you're layering over the behaviour that you want to see.
Got it.
And being a leader, you probably have to have that confidence to be probably whether it's louder or more forthright. You have to be very succinct.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're going, amazing contract. That was a journey that the team was on. The team did a lot of work. So all of a sudden you're saying team, marketing this, all that. So you're kind of creating a blocker.
Yeah.
And you might have a side conversation after it going, just want you to be really careful because the perception of when you say that to the team is not going to be great.
Yeah. So interesting what you said. And thank you. I really learned something, that whole layering thing. I'd never even heard of that before. I'm going to look it up as well too.
I just made it up. Anyway.
Did you? Are you sure?
There's nothing scientific.
Because I do it incidentally in many places. I go, this is good, but let me add something to it as opposed to attacking what they said. Add something to it.
You could say
layering,
habit stacking or whatever. Stack something on top of it, or give that unfortunate statement that individual just did a big hug. And a big hug, I say, let's not reprimand him. Yeah. Let's make sure, or her, or whoever it is, you then create a conversation that is completely the opposite. Yeah. It's all about the success of the team. Yeah. And you can be a little bit sarcastic in emphasizing team as opposed to individual.
So interesting, Wendy, because as you're speaking and you and I are talking about the people skills and how much finesse there is to it, and they're so diverse and, in terms of, what's the word I'm looking for? The details of it. Yeah. The details. We do so many things we don't realise we've built over the years to be able to finesse certain things and do a nice curve instead of being go like that, abruptly doing things and keep conversation going. So when you think about that and you think about this leader, let's say is running a company in Australia, but they've only been in Australia for 12 months. They come from a completely different culture. Yeah. The English is okay. But they're still loved and respected as a leader with okay English. So, you go, okay, so we're just talking about the sophistication of how you're handling what you're saying and how you're saying it. How do you expect someone with okay English, brand new to the culture of Australia, to be running a company doing so well, managing all these people, and a lot of them are doing it. So there's something there deeper than just the language and the words that you say. And what you said before, how you needs to come from a good place is so interesting.
Yeah.
That to find something positive, to really give them benefit of the doubt and attack attack the point or attack what's missing still in that point, but from a positive place.
Yeah.
So that's where you go, so that is why someone with those skills with okay English can still do that, because they can still, that body language and that energy will still show.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, what is the saying? People forget what you say, but they remember how that you made them feel kind of conversation. So I think that's where it comes from.
Yes.
And, if we stem back from that scenario that you said, let's be very clear. As a leader, and this is the hard part, probably that is the easy part. The hard part is then to have the courage to bring that person and have a meeting with them and talk about what just happened.
To me, that's the easier.
Yeah.
To me, that's easier.
Yeah.
I respect it. I'm just saying personally, it's how you handle that situation in front of people.
Yeah.
I believe it's so critical.
Yeah. It is absolutely critical, because if you do nothing, you're actually
a week later. You're not role modeling.
You're okay.
Everything
with
we
it.
discussed that.
You're absolutely okay with it. So I think I think it's such an important thing, because you've got to be able to act, and react really, really quickly in a very precise way.
Yes. That's, I guess, what I'm talking about.
It's precision layering. Hey, we could create our own framework here.
Precision layering. Okay. I'm going to add that to Wikipedia. Make it a thing. A claim that Carl Jung or someone mentioned that whatever in some book. Oh, it's some
It'll
book.
Go viral.
The first book that he did on page 27 somewhere. Yeah. Okay. All right, very good, Wendy. Listen, it's been a really good conversation. Is there anything else you still would like to maybe go into? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Covered a lot. I've just really loved having a conversation with you.
That's really good.
Anwar, it feels like it's been
really good.
About 2 minutes, but I think for me,
it does. It felt so quick,
Yeah, and even what you've made me do by actually just inviting me in and me being brave enough to say yes, was it made me think about and whether you didn't tell me we were going to talk about leadership or anything like that, but that's where my mind went to, and it made me think about my journey and reflect on where I am. Do I think I'm a great leader? No. Do I think I'm a good leader? Potentially, yes. I think I enjoy it. I love it, but I've got a long way to go. And so this conversation is helping me be better.
I'm very glad.
So
and I 100% learned through it.
Yeah.
And I really hope that people that watch it just learn one thing from it. It would be still very useful. So, hey, thank you very much. All the very best, first of all, with the family.
Thank you.
And with the business, with this new role. I have 100% confidence you're going to kill it. We're all on a journey. It's only 4 months in. So, it's a smaller business. You've got the agility to move things around, hopefully, and you'll get there.
Yeah, I love it.
Good
I
on
love
you.
it. Thank you so much,
All the best.
Anwar.
Thank you, Wendy.